1 year after shaking hands with power, ODM is waking up with a political hangover. And it's not pretty.
What I'm saying with this long narrative is that even those of us in ODM, we cannot wait for 2027 to make up our minds. We must make up our minds early.
A year ago, ODM struck a deal with President William Ruto under the ban of a broad-based government. A political handshake dressed up as national unity.
We seek a more equitable country in which all peoples of all backgrounds are included in the enjoyment of socio-economic benefits and are equal members of one indivisible nation.
The script was simple: end the hostilities, share a few cabinet slots, and project a working relationship that would steady the country and perhaps serve ODM's long-term ambitions. Fast forward 12 months later, and the honeymoon phase is clearly over. ODM is now nursing what Homa Bay Senator Moses Kajwang bluntly describes as a 202 feeling.
You see, it will be 35 years. For the last 35 years, our community has always had a presidential candidate. From 1992, Jaramogi, all the way to the last election. This could be the first election where our community does not have a candidate. I'm not saying it is going to be, I'm saying it could be the first election where our community does not have a candidate. The only other time that we didn't have a candidate as a community was in the year 2002 when Raila Amolo Odinga supported Mwai Kibaki.
And for those with a short political memory, that was the year Raila Odinga was lured into KANU with promises of power. Only for the then President Daniel Arap Moi to turn around and endorse Uhuru Kenyatta. The fallout splintered the party and left Raila politically bruised.
Kama ni hivyo, asiendelee kufanya campaign kwa Uhuru, na vile vile vyombo vya habari kama KBC isitumike kupiga tu mambo ya Uhuru, ati madiwani fulani, wabunge fulani, si nini wamesema ati ni Uhuru peke yake. Manake hiyo haitaweka kiwanja iwe sawa.
Kajwang, speaking with the weight of institutional memory, has now begun ringing alarm bells. He says the signs are all over there. ODM, once a fierce opposition outfit, is slowly being neutralized from within, rewarded with token appointments, while the real chess moves happen elsewhere.
And for those who are there, our support for Mwai Kibaki was an accident. And let me clarify why it was an accident. Raila took his party for the sake of national unity and merged with KANU. Mpaka watu wakasema jogoo imemeza tingatinga. Raila became the Secretary General of KANU. He became the Minister of Energy. Adua Witi became the Minister for Planning. Orwa Ojode and Peter Odoyo became Assistant Ministers. Otieno Kajwang became the Secretary for Legal and Constitutional Affairs in KANU. Moi gave us a taste of government. We were hopeful that Moi was either going to hold our hand or hand over the leadership to Raila Amolo Odinga and his team. Moi took the rungu and gave it to Uhuru Kenyatta. It was at the last minute, we had all our hopes that Moi was going to support us. But he gave the rungu to somebody else. Akatuacha mataa. Ilibidi tujipange. Raila Amolo first went and talked with Simeon Nyachai. So they first discussed, but then he realized the ground was with the other side. So he rushed to Uhuru Park, and in the month of October 2002, he said Kibaki tosha for an election that was to be held in December of that year. When he went there, he found all the positions had already been negotiated. The vice president was already assigned to Kijana Wamalwa. Senior positions had already been given. Martha Karua, Kiraitu Murungi, all those people, they had already taken positions. We came late in October, supported Mwai Kibaki, on the understanding that there was going to be created a position of prime minister. When Kibaki took over power, he was told those guys came too late. They did not help us in any way. They did not contribute to our victory. And that is why we were played. The position of prime minister was not created.
You see, under the MOU, several ODM-aligned figures were handed government positions. In public, they have sung Ruto's praises with remarkable consistency, praising his development agenda, defending his policies, and in some cases, looking more loyal than his own UDA foot soldiers.
As a community, there is something we believe in, that a leader, before he dies, a leader knows his death, but he doesn't talk about his death.
Tuelewane, siwezi kuwa mahali ambaye Raila hakunipeleka. And I must say it today here, I was taken to government of William Ruto by Raila Amolo Odinga.
Lazima tumshukuru Mheshimiwa Rais Ruto kwa kufungua ukurasa mpya wa uongozi na ya maendeleo. Kwa sababu yeye ndiye rais wa kwanza ambaye ameamua ya kwamba hii nchi ni kubwa na ni ya kila mtu.
But behind closed doors, an ease is growing. Many in ODM's rank and file believe the deal has demobilized the party, blurred its identity, and risked turning it into a prop for Ruto's 2027 re-election strategy.
What I'm saying with this long narrative is that even those of us in ODM, we cannot wait for 2027 to make up our minds. We must make up our minds early to avoid the situation we found ourselves in 2002. William Ruto has been good to us. He has given us positions just like Moi gave us. In fact, that time he gave Adua Witi planning. This time he has given us the National Treasury and Economic Planning. And so, we must decide early so that we have clarity, we know what lies ahead of us. We cannot demand too much from William Ruto now because we didn't give him the votes. But if we are to give him the votes in 2027, we must agree on what our community gets. And what our community gets is not just about positions. It is not just about a deputy president. It must be anchored on a development agenda that is geared towards resolving the historical marginalization and injustice that this region has gotten.
Kajwang's warning comes as Kenya's political climate begins to split into familiar camps. On one side, President Ruto and his broad-based supporters. On the other, a regrouped opposition forming around Kalonzo Musyoka, Rigathi Gachagua, and a growing cast of disenchanted political actors hoping to ride a protest wave into power.
Farasi ni ngapi? Farasi ni ngapi? Mtu unaitwa Kasongo na hii muungano ya one term. Hii ingine yote ni punda. Sindio? Na sisi tunajua.
It is an echo of the Kibaki coalition in 2002, when an opposition alliance bulldozed Moi's project. Today, with cost of living pressures, youth unemployment, and stalled reforms weighing heavily, many Kenyans believe a similar upset is on the horizon.
Awachane na Kalonzo, awachane na Rigiji, awachane na viongozi, akuje apambane na jeshi ya nchi kavu. Na namwahidi kuanzia Lamu mpaka kwa Lungalunga mpaka Taita. Safari hii mimi ndio nitaongoza vita ya jeshi ya nchi kavu, angani na majini. Sasa situkule kiapo.
And ODM, unfortunately, it may find itself stranded, too compromised to lead the revolt, too late to back out.